So Drake is suing Universal Music Group and Spotify for the claim that they inflated the numbers of Not Like Us, the Kendrick Lamar song that came out earlier this year that called Drake a pedophile. It's got almost 1 billion streams and it came out earlier this year. I got the lawsuit pulled up over here. We're going to be taking a look at it today. But it's been a pretty fascinating couple of days here for the whole Kendrick Lamar, Drake scene. Kendrick Lamar a couple days ago released an album unannounced, just 9 a.m. on a Friday, casual Friday, which many people really did like. As you can see here on his Spotify page, he's got tons and tons of plays already just within the first couple of days of this album being released. A lot of people did claim that this album seemed like it was recorded pretty recently because of the fact that Kendrick kind of references a lot of things that happened within the past couple of months in here, all stuff that's happened pretty recently here. So a lot of people do kind of have this belief that this album was recorded post rap beef, post Kendrick victory. And one of the funniest shots that I think Kendrick took at someone was just basically ignoring the fact that Drake made his own Heart Part 6. So a lot of people have obviously been very excited about this Kendrick album. A lot of people, GOAT conversations happening here. Kendrick's the GOAT. And Drake very quickly responded by saying, we are not on the same level here. We are not on the same playing field, okay? Kendrick, we are different, okay? Because while you're out here making one of the best albums of 2024, I'm doing a gambling stream with XQC. Drake, of course, is no stranger to promoting the fact that gambling addiction is becoming even more accessible to people. He's done plenty of streams with Steak, and this one with XQC, just like Steak says, you won't want to miss this because they're doing hookah together. I think something that was very interesting about this stream and the clips that kind of came from it seemed like Drake was pretty insecure during this entire stream. There's plenty of clips out there of Drake telling XQC to skip songs on his stream because he's playing songs from his ops. Here's a clip of XQC having to skip a song by The Weeknd.
You have to switch this song on.
That obviously was not the very first time that happened on this stream. Here's Drake calling Steve Lacy a fragile op, which I'm not even sure what this means, but
This guy's like a fragile op, but it's a good song though.
What does that mean, a fragile op? No.
Chat knows what I'm talking about.
no, chat does not know what you are talking about, Drake. But I think probably the most insecure bit about this stream was this clip from the very beginning where he kind of takes a shot at Kendrick Lamar here. Let's take a look at this.
I do music, in case you didn't know. I'm here, as you can see, fully intact. Mind, body, and soul, in case you were wondering. Right?
Mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it. Cheers to everybody.
Words live by.
That's right, Drake. You need facts, not fairy tales. Shout out to Tabby, by the way, for noticing this bald spot on Drake. The reason why this quote here is very ironic is because of this new lawsuit that Drake has, come out against against Universal Music and Spotify. This is the petition to the court. In my minimal knowledge of the law, I don't think this is an actual court order or I think this is hey, we want to sue these guys. I don't think it's going to court yet. This is just a petition to go to court. It lays out all the stuff here. It claims, so the petitioner is Frozen Moments LLC. It states later in the document that Frozen Moments is something owned by Drake. And they're going against UMG and Spotify. UMG, I'm pretty sure, is also Drake's label, so it's kind of funny that he's going after his own label here. It starts off with just, some stuff about, talking about how it's harder for artists to break through the noise, how Spotify is the biggest streaming platform of all time, and how, Spotify and UMG have, a good business relationship or whatever like that. But, it really starts to get interesting down here on line 5, I think, or, point 5 here, where the language here is really funny. In 2024, UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practices to break through the noise on Spotify and likely other music platforms. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves with a song Not Like Us in order to make a song go viral, including by using bots and pay-to-play agreements. Now, this claim here saying that they were using bots and pay-to-play agreements. They reference a podcast with DJ Academics and some random guy. I don't know who the guy was. They linked it in the document here. Let's see if we can pull it up, actually. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. I didn't feel like watching this. It's 43 minutes long. I can't imagine that this is a credible piece of evidence for the fact that they used hacked bot streams. You know, I don't really know much about DJ Academics, but I've seen a lot of his clips circle around Twitter, and you know, he's just seems like just a guy. They use this quote a lot too on Information and Belief. On Information and Belief, UMG charged Spotify licensing rates 30% lower than its usual licensing rates for Not Like Us, in exchange for Spotify to affirmatively recommend the song to users who are searching for other unrelated songs and artists. It seems very conspiratorial in my opinion. This quote here on Information and Belief, they use this term a lot throughout the document, and it's like a legal term for basically saying, you know, somebody told me that this was true, okay? You know, somebody told me you had a girlfriend that looked like a boyfriend that I had in February of last year. There's not really a whole lot of like actual like solid evidence for these claims. They also say that there's stuff like they paid basically $5,000 for 30 million streams, which honestly sounds pretty fucking cheap for 30 million streams. If that's the case, dude, I gotta hit the bank. They also claim that UMG used bots to promote the music video. They say that they use similar tactics on other streaming platforms. They also go after Apple here. There's a thing here that on Information and Belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Incorporated to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us. Online sources reported that when users asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contains the lyrics Certified Pedophile. That's fucking funny, man. Also, this is also funny. The UMG engaged in similar pay-to-play schemes to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio. Here's where I think this is kind of, you know, your theory kind of falls apart. It's like, it's Kendrick Lamar, okay? Kendrick Lamar releases a diss track against another very prominent artist, Drake, and you're saying that people aren't gonna play that on the radio? Like, maybe that's they're not saying that literally, but they're like, to say that you're paying people to play it on the radio just seems like it's a little far-fetched because it's Kendrick Lamar making a song about Drake. They then go after the NFR podcast. I don't listen to the guys, but of course I know who they are. And NFR is they're, you know, very popular podcast, especially in the rap scene. And of course NFR podcast is going to tweet about Not Like Us. Of course they're going to make content about Not Like Us. However, this suit here claims that they violated FTC laws by not stating that it was an ad. They're basically claiming that UMG paid NFR podcast to tweet about the song, and they say that this is true because Interscope reposted one of their tweets. Dude, this is the deeper you dive into this lawsuit, the more it just does not make any sense, and this is why I really wanted to make this video. It's like, what are you doing, Drake? You're making a fool out of yourself, man. The rest of the lawsuit's kind of just more of the same. I'll link this in the description if you guys want to take a look at it yourself. Variety did report that UMG responded to the claim. They said that the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans chose the way or the music that they want to hear. I think that's like a perfect way to sum this up. It's like Drake is upset that people liked Kendrick's song more than Drake's song, and there's really no other way that I can look at that objectively. There's not really any substantial evidence, especially, you know, they keep using that term, man, on Information and Belief. The somebody told me line. It just doesn't make sense. So is this gonna go to court? I don't know. I mean, this will be a developing story here on the Kyle Reed channel. Follow me on Twitch because starting next year we're going to do a lot of live streams on twitch.tv/Kyle Reed Live, and we'll report on stuff like this live so that way you guys can chime in as well. So yeah, that's what's going on in the Drake verse. Bit of a different video for you guys here, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be doing more of this in the coming year.